made you another gauge. This one is out of plywood, so it's a lot less rough. I sanded it down so it's easy to handle. This one, it's hard to tell where the hole is because you've got this huge lip of duct tape here. But this is also 7/16 because we don't have any 1/2 inch plywood at all, but buttering's only come in 1/8 inch increments, so I guess that's gonna be okay. But what you're gonna wanna do is I cut it nice and big so it fits well over the mud ring. It's important that it lies flat on the trusses or on the studs. So it's gotta be in contact on both of them. And then what you wanna do is take one of the sacred items, which is a speed square. It's a guaranteed straight edge. So you can take it, and if you contact, while you're trying to, this should be able to span, see how there's a gap there? It's because the mud ring is actually proud of the surface. So you should be able to put this pretty much across, and the mud ring should just kiss the speed square. It shouldn't keep it from laying flat against the plywood. And again, the plywood's kind of got to be pressed up against the studs. So this one actually is, you can see, pretty proud of the surface there. This box is not necessarily straight either, so you can kind of get your hand on the box and manhandle it around a little bit to get it straight like you want it, and then check it again. But like I said, this one's all sanded now, so it should be a lot easier to use. I put a hole in the center so that you can either use the edge or the center. I might put a 2x4 all the way across this thing just so it stays really straight, but I'm not sure yet. This thing is one of my favorite upgrades. It's just this little 8 compartment container that we got at Menards for like $3. Maybe more than that, but we just labeled the bit sizes, and now it's like really easy to like sort and organize your bits. So if you need a T30, which is kind of a rare size, you just reach in there and there one is. And then everyone else who works in the house knows exactly where they should put like loose bits and stuff like that. So I've got Phillips, square 1, square 2, random adapters, T30 through T20. These are pretty much all the sizes I need. So far the drywall gun has been a real back saver. The nice thing about it is it's long enough with a collated attachment. Not only is it collated attachment because it's easy because you can do it with one hand, so you don't have to be holding a screw in place or anything like that, but it's long enough that I'm tall enough that I can just do it from the ground, which is a huge bonus. Only downside is it takes collated screws, which are more expensive. You gotta buy the buckets. These are like $30 a piece. So I think it's like $34 for that bucket, and the equivalent amount of loose drywall screws is maybe $25, so it's like $10 more a bucket of screws. We tried refilling these strips, but the screws don't stick in there nice and stiff like that. They kind of go loose, and you end up with the tip of the screw being all loose while you're trying to jam it into the wall, and it's just a mess. So we switched back from reloading them to just buying new strips. Today is March 11th, and we're turning the water back on. In fact, the water main at the street is on. We checked to make sure that the meter and all stuff all got hooked back up correctly. The mortgage is just hooking up the manifold, so we're gonna kind of check things one at a time. But it's it's frozen a couple days outside, but the house, really since we got drywall up and stuff, has not gone below 40 degrees pretty much since we got the drywall up. Today is March 18th. It's a particularly cold day outside. It's 20 degrees, which it was like almost 50 or 60 last week, and this week it's 20, at least for a couple days. Bringing it down to 10 at night, but we just finished the drywall in the peak, and now we don't have any big air holes, and it's getting a lot warmer in here. Our undersized mini splits are actually keeping up. We're able to get it up to like 60 degrees in here. 57, can't really do that. But we got the fireplace going. But yeah, we even got that drywalled up there. We got to do the rest of the wall. Yeah, the dormers, we just left it long. We're gonna cut it back with a rotozip. We made sure we came past the corner there, so we can cut it out with a rotozip later, because we don't want to end up shooting that corner, because you'll end up with cracks. We put some spray foam in the peak just to keep the air from flowing through there, and so we can get it taped. We'll have to cut that back a little bit. But yeah, this whole half of the house is done. Looks like a horror movie. And this whole half of the house is done too. So all that's left is the dormers, which should be a single sheet from front to back. And then some cuts in there and stuff, but not too bad. And then these dormer sides we're gonna do in 5/8, but we're gonna hang them vertically because we have the strapping on the walls there. And so it's just be 8-foot sheets up and down till we get to the corner here. And it's the same thing for the other dormer, so that'll go real easy. But it's so nice working in here with the heat on. And yeah, we haven't been heating this half of the house. We've been heating this half of the house over here for a couple days. But we just started heating this half of the house today. And it actually takes several days for the slab and the concrete walls to come up to temperature. Concrete has a very high heat capacity, and I did the math on it, and with our propane heater, which puts out 120 kBTUs, that's twice as much as our apartment furnace does. But with that 120 kBTU, we'd only be able to heat up this heated portion of the house at 2 degrees per hour if all of the heat ended up in the concrete. And it's definitely not ending up in the concrete because it's just pouring out the ceiling. So over the next day or so, the mini splits are going to end up heating up the concrete, and once the house is at temperature, it won't have to work so hard. Oh, look at that, hit 58 since we're standing here. We're gaining another degree. This place is going to be warming up. It's nice to see that the mini splits are keeping up with it being 20 degrees outside. Just unloaded another load of drywall, so we were able to get 2 loads in the truck. So we got 16 sheets of 1/2-inch mold moisture resistant. Got 6 more sheets today of this 5/8 fire I did. So that's gonna go in the bathrooms. We need almost 30 sheets. That's gonna go in the hallways and stuff. We're gonna do double layer drywall in some places to kind of try and keep the noise from propagating through the bedrooms. And then we have a couple sheets of 1/2-inch left. But yeah, we can fit roughly 20 to 25 sheets in the truck before we hit the weight capacity.
So April 30th, we have our first trailer pull with Princess. Just rented a U-Haul. I think this is the first time Michael has ever driven a trailer. And we're hoping it doesn't go as poorly as the moving van U-Haul experience where it like crapped out on the side of the road. But we're gonna pick up lots of 12-foot drywall today. And yeah, it'll be an experience.
Kind of a big day today. We got the rest of the drywall hung in the bedrooms, so now we don't have to do any more bedrooms. May 7th, we've been at this about 3 months now. I think we've been doing about 15 hours of work a week, so not crazy. About 3 hours a night if you exclude weekend. Probably about 5 hours a day on each weekend. It's going okay. Some things that I regret, like there's a beam up there and it causes, you probably might come up on camera, but you can see that gap that closes. That's because there's a beam in there that's causing this piece of drywall to bulge. It's way more apparent if you put a level across the ceiling. I don't really know what to do about that because I didn't want to have to shim the whole ceiling down to get around that beam. So I might just have to work on spreading that out. All the bathrooms are done. The laundry room is done, and the master bedroom is done. It's so much brighter in here with white drywall to reflect all the light, but some rooms are actually way darker because there's just no natural light in the bathrooms. Got our little toilet room down in here. Honestly, we should move the toilet in here. I got the closet done, it's all that mold and mildew resistant drywall. But you can actually see the drywall a lot better on camera than you can in person. I've been going through and pre-filling the gaps with quickset, sustainable quickset, because I'm not super great at hanging drywall. This is something we still might regret, but we're not landing butt joints on studs. We've just been leaving them hanging because there is the ICF behind it, so I don't think it's actually going to flex, but we'll go ahead and cut that joint open a little bit and throw in some quickset. Hopefully lock it together. Still have little scraps of mold and mildew that we're trying to use up. This might be a problem. This is the laundry room. So it's got the double layer of 5/8 drywall with the carpet glue between it for the sound blocking. And there'll be one more layer on this side. But all of a sudden the wall depth is not a 2x4 wall, not a 2x6 wall. It's kind of custom. So we might have to do something special with the doors to get those hung, because we might need to make custom jambs. Yeah, all that's left on this side of the house actually is the hallway, which I gotta pick up a couple more pieces of 5/8. And yeah, that's it. We're waiting on this nut here because we need an access panel to come in for that door that we can frame in. And then I also bought a fire extinguisher cabinet, and that's gonna ship, so we can put a fire extinguisher in the hallway. But yeah, it's going good so far. I'm hoping we're approaching the halfway point of the cuts we need to make. This is how we put our thermostats in. We just put a regular old double gang electrical box, and the back plate of this thing, these holes actually line up with the mounting holes on this, so you can just mount it right in place. Got the mini splits in air conditioning mode for the first time this year. I just wanted to get a little moist in here, so I have them in drying mode. Try and pull some humidity out. Anytime you do the pre-fill or the drywall mud, as it dries, it just puts a lot of humidity in the air. So it's nice to be able to pull some of that out. Yeah, this is probably the worst room or area of this closet. It was so out of square. I think the chain of walls that go down this hallway on the right, all the ones that kind of come this way. So like this wall, that wall, and then the wall that goes across there. They were some of the first ones I framed, and they were a little out of plumb. And I went back later and corrected it, and I think I accumulated all of it into like this wall. I think just the way it worked out, I had to hide it somewhere, and yeah, it ended up in this wall. So a lot of these cuts just didn't come out square. We didn't get good gaps. You can see there. This ceiling actually was before I realized that my original drywall square was not even remotely square. I got a new one, an Empire from Home Depot, and it seems to be, it's not expensive or anything, it was like 15 bucks, but it seems to be a lot more square, and it's staying square. So, coming along. We started putting this drywall glue behind our drywall. It's about 70 bucks for a box. It comes in the 28-ounce tubes. And we just put on the studs before you put the drywall on. And I think it makes the drywall a little less rattly, and it also supposedly prevents screw pops. We didn't do it on the ICF walls because I don't think it'll do anything for us, but we did do it on all the stud walls, so that's one thing. This is what we used to go between the Go board. So you're supposed to use either the Go board approved sealant, or this is one of the ones that was on their list is okay. This is also about, I think, 90 bucks for a 12 pack, and this is what we used to waterproof all the joints and seams in the tub. We had a friend come in from out of town today, and he helped us get the dormers drywalled. We ended up hanging the sidewalls vertically, which is a little unusual, but it makes it so we only have flat joints, so we could use 4x8 sheets. So it actually went pretty smooth. We got a lot of screws that we didn't get sunk, so we have to go both through and sink them, but it actually really wasn't that bad, and it looks way better. I'm actually really surprised that this corner came in correctly, because the truss is flat on the bottom, and it has to make that angle with the drywall. I wasn't really thinking that was going to work out, but it looks like it's worked out perfectly. We went around and sprayed the top plates with this stuff called intumescent paint. It foams up when exposed to fire, and will prevent the trusses from burning, or the studs from burning. The ceiling has got 5/8 fire-rated, 1-hour fire-rated drywall in it, so in the event of a fire, that would keep the fire from getting into the attic for an hour. But we wanted to make sure it couldn't get through the studs and get up into the attic. So we sprayed those real quick. We got the Avanti 821 Max sprayer from Harbor Freight. It's like $700, so it's very expensive, but we have a lot of priming to do, so we figured we'll use it, and we kind of wanted to have a nice tool, but I think it's a little overkill for this, and it takes a ton of paint to get the hose filled and the machine filled, so it's not really good for small renovation projects, and it takes a lot of cleaning, so a smaller sprayer is probably better for anything other than a new house. We're continuing to insulate our tub. I took some of those cheap fire block cans and sprayed the outside of the tub to try and make it a little less rattly. It's an acrylic tub. And then I'm stuffing in as much fiberglass insulation as I can hopefully to try and keep the heat in the tub if you ever take a bath, and so the water doesn't get cold right away. So we're putting in a shower niche, and basically just framed a box. It's 16 inches on center, minus the 1.5 inches, so 14.5 wide. And then I think we did like 13 tall. It's taller than the tallest bottle of soap we have. When we put each of the shelves in, we shot a nail in both sides. And then I got a level on here and made it so it was the level bubble just touched the line, which means it's like 1/4 inch per foot, which is the slope you want. And then once I got to the right slope, I fired a screw in both sides to lock it in place. So what we'll do is we'll cut this go board out, and then this sheet will become the back of the niche, and then we'll just have to build little strips for here. So we'll lose another 1/2 inch on all the sides around because the go board's a 1/2 inch thick. So hopefully that'll go really smooth. My friend also helped us come in and do the drywall in this bathroom. This is just where the sinks are going to be. The bathroom, the toilet, and the shower are actually in the other room. But again, it's the purple mold and moisture resistant drywall. Yeah, it went really quick when we had a third person. In this room, we've got kind of more interesting stuff. So this is the actual bathroom. It's got the tub. It's a low tub for kids or if we're older. And then this toilets could be in here too. This is go board. So a lot of people are using like the Fluter wall board, which is kind of similar to this, or Weedy. This is like a lot cheaper. Like a Curdy board is like $70 a sheet. This is closer to $30 for a 3x5 sheet. So a full sheet goes along the back. Goes up the wall. It comes 33 inches off the back wall, so we have a little bit of tile in front of our tub. And then you just use regular 1/8 inch tile spacers. This whole bag's like $3. And you set an 1/8 inch gap between the boards so that you can cram some of that OSI caulk in there. And that's what does the waterproofing. You want to do a pass where you jam it in the cracks. And then you want to do another pass where you do a 1 inch band along the seam. And then come back and fill all your screws with that caulk too. But it makes a really nice back for a drywall. It's really, really flat because it's basically XPS foam with cement and fiberglass sprayed on the surface. So they say it's inherently waterproof. The only weak spot is the seams. The spec for it is to have a screw every 6 inches in the field. So it takes a lot of screws. There's like 6 inches between screws, and then of course a regular stud bay. You're supposed to use backer board screws. They make their own, but they're almost impossible to get the go board screws. So I just used these are like the Hardy backer board screws. There's two types. There's green ones and gray ones. I think both will work. It seems like the gray ones are the ones that you're technically supposed to use for this. The actual official go board screws are a little nicer because the heads are bigger, so it grabs a little better. And they say you can go down to 8 inch spacing, but I mean these are super cheap, and I can get them right at Menards. So that's what we did. We kept the go board up off the bottom of the tub because I hear wicking is a problem. So we did 1/8 inch spacing there too. The tile will go over that lip of the tub there. So this is a wall that is an ICF exterior wall, and we did 1/2 inch drywall over it. We used 1 5/8 inch screws like you would for 5/8 drywall because they were the only thing that was long enough to get down into the web. But the problem with it is almost every head sinks. So like we have a lot of ones that just went deep, even with the drywall gun. Something about the foam and how it compresses, it really pulls the screw head through. So we had to go back and put another one next to it. But it's a bit of a mess because they do sink deep, and sometimes you strip out the web. So it may be a better solution for that if you're doing ICF walls. The wall is super solid though. Like it's 1/2 inch drywall, so most of the walls are kind of rattly. But this wall feels very solid. And actually, the walls are starting to feel a lot better now that there's drywall on both sides. Especially the closet here. This is the closet. It's very echoey. And this is one wall where we didn't put that drywall adhesive in between, and this wall we did. And so I'm not sure if that's one of the things that's making that wall feel a lot more solid or not.
I don't know if you can really see it. There's like pea size, so it's not big. Maybe some 1/2 inch. Do you think these zip ties are safety rated?